Hello, everybody. Welcome to ESL Challenger League, Season 47, North America. We're going to fly into this. Thank you for bearing with us for yet another delay, but we should be getting into this match hopefully sooner rather than later, so let's do it. I'm Darth Mike. This is JRT. We're going to get a match between M80 and Nouns underway. And if we take a look at the bracket for what we've got going on so far in the playoffs, this is a promising moment for one of these teams. They're going to be feeling really dang good because they'll be one step away from the ESL Pro League. This, to me, is frankly the matchup to watch from the whole dang bracket because, frankly, if it was a repeat in the grand final, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it yesterday, right? The fact that Nouns could very likely end up in the grand final, and M80 are our pick to take it all, so we certainly expect them to make it to that last matchup. But looking out over here, I mean, if Nouns go down to that lower bracket, it's still going to be tough, right? Because NRG are down there. You have Mythic, who are currently winning against Elevate. Mythic, we talked about that as well, as thinking like, okay, maybe these guys will be that that wild card that might come out and surprise us all. And so far, I mean, they did come out with a clean win against Boss, and now on Elevate, they beat them in the past. They could do it again.
They could indeed, but we'll focus in on M80 versus Nouns because, again, we'll be hopping in the server in just a moment. And our player to watch for this matchup, our Kadia player to watch, as we've been informed, is Mobs MD. Mario coming in strong. He's been looking amazing for this M80 roster. They've been absolutely tearing it through the competition lately, and Mario's been a big part of that, Mr. Mobs MD himself.
Yeah, I mean, Mobs, his stats are unreal, like out of this world in some ways. His entry stats have been incredible. I think he's at 100 plus over the last 3 months, leaps and bounds above the rest of his team. Obviously, you know, he has that superstar power that he's really flexing, and that's great to have on a team that's already kind of star-studded in terms of the amount of mechanical skill. I mean, you have Swisher behind him, Rec as well, you know, Wolfie doing, not Wolfie, Slacks. I'm a few months in the past here, Mike, but Slacks doing an awesome job, and Sin as well, being picked up as an IGL. He can still frag, so I think that this whole team is so well built, and it's already being shown at the tier 1 level. This should be their tournament to take.
They showed themselves so nicely in Pro League, taking series against G2, nearly taking another one, right? That it would be a shame if they weren't back in the ESL Pro League. So they're trying to make that the case, but Nouns is the problem. We've got our veto here. It's going to be Mirage picked through from Nouns, Vertigo from M80. Ooh, a little new Vertigo. I'm here for it. Let's see who's adapted faster. And Ancient as a decider if we get to it. I have not seen any new Vertigo. No one was touching it over at Dallas.
Okay.
So I'm extremely excited to see what this is going to look like. Can we just skip Mirage? Can we coin flip from Mirage and watch Vertigo? Because that's frankly what I would like to do. I would like to just go straight into the fun here, John.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I've actually saw a South American match, managed to cast one on Vertigo, and it was quite hectic. That A site, it was actually avoided a lot of the time. The teams were just going to B, and then when they went to A, it was kind of that change-up pitch because it is so crazy with how much is going on over there. But we're going to jump right onto Mirage, and interestingly, Mike, maybe Nouns watched what we said last night because they banned Inferno and floated Dust 2, which I think is definitely to their benefit.
Yeah, it makes so much more sense from the veto. Even if they haven't been playing Dust 2. Like, you're telling me this collection of Pug Stars doesn't know Dust 2. Come on. Come on. Let them try.
They beat M80 on it. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that.
So why are you vetoing Dust 2? That never made any sense to me. It was very bizarre. Did get a nice tweet from Dren saying, you know, broke out Anubis in the playoffs. Find it interesting. They're going to be trying to go to that in the future. Swisher, no. Going to be everybody.
What?
Right, start the map off with an ace, why don't ya?
Alrighty then, Swisher, his third ace in the last month. It comes right off the rip here in the pistol round. Those dualies can be very potent, especially if you line them up in the right spot. It was a thing of beauty.
Especially when they don't clear you at all.
Yeah, none.
Nouns just trying to hit the gas and hitting the brick wall of Swish. Ace in the pistol. 438 ADR in that round. Oh! Ah!
That's wild. I mean, look, this M80 squad did go toe-to-toe against Nouns on Mirage previously. It went the distance, but it actually went the way of Nouns when they last played it by a score of 11-13. This time, obviously, they want to have a different result, but they ended up going for the reverse sweep, of course, winning on Ancient 13-8 and Inferno 13-4 in their last matchup. Nouns were victorious I think, was it in the NA Revival Cup, Mike? I can't recall exactly, but I know that Nouns did win a BO3 prior to that, and it was just that Inferno map that went terribly for them, and then Nouns were the ones with the reverse sweep on Ancient and Dust too. So we'll have to see if Nouns can be that team that can upset M80 once more.
Be a big question. Sin jiggling. Oh, there's the spot. Now he knows. All right, teammate comes over. Swish is trying to set him up. Sin just going for a little peeky poo. See what he can find. Double setup. Slacks is actually on the flank, so if they hesitate here, it can be disastrous. Eventually, Sin just runs out of bullets here. Gets run down. But a bomb plant is a distant thought, and they won't even need the flank. Far from it. So only one casualty. Very comfortable start here for M80. 1 death, 2 rounds. That's about the way you want to cook it. And Swisher, like, it's not an ace, but another 2 kills. 326 DAR through 2 rounds. He is loving life on the B side.
Eventually, that's going to slow down unless they keep going to B and Swisher continues to get frags, which would be absolutely insane. But we've never seen it before. Never seen an ADR. I think, what's the highest that we've ever had? Like, ever in Counter-Strike history?
I could not tell you.
Okay.
I could not tell you.
I'm assuming it's somewhere
Probably
like the
from
150 mark. Yeah. Anyway, Slacks will get an opener here, and then Malbs a second, but the trades are good from Nouns. The first time they've got guns up. Unfortunately, Mike, for them, look at that health. Junior and George, and then Rush eats a nade down to 53, but Junior and George only 56 HP combined, and Rush at 53. That is very troubling for them.
This MP9 is going to look like an XM with the health that they've got.
Yeah.
Sin's a solo B player, so he actually realizes that very aggressive position may be a little too much. He's going to set up where Swisher did with the dualies. You'd imagine this time Nouns are going to check it, but they might overlook. And actually, if he can get a teammate into market, Rek's got flashbangs. This gets a whole lot better, because Rek can take contact, distract them, maybe even set up a flat. He missed it. He missed it. They're out. But here comes Sin with the 1. Rek able to follow up. Just the 1 man, and Rek has it handled. So a little more dangerous in this round, but reminder that was the bonus round. They had only had 1 casualty across 2 previously, so M80 is sitting on a dragon's hoard of gold at this point, and they're stacking the rounds, and Nouns have 0 bomb plants to show for these first 3.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem for them. On the M80 side, there are a couple of players that are strapped for cash, though. Rek and Balbs a little bit low, but everyone else is fine. And like you said, I mean, it'll be okay, even if should they lose this round. But I don't expect them to, with Nouns having those 4 Tech 9s and the P250.
This one has started out very nicely, and it's going to end much the same. 0 issue here. Extreme comfort once again shown. Why not a kill through smoke? As the spam does land. Nouns, nothing doing in that. Okay. We are 4 rounds into this, and it doesn't really feel like Nouns have gotten to the server. They've had 1 round of some success, and otherwise it has been a battering.
Yeah. I mean, I have to imagine it's going to change soon. Nouns are a team that's quite resilient. The problem is that when these early starts go in favor of their opponents, sometimes they can fall flat. I feel like that's starting to change under Adren's leadership, that they're able to kind of persevere under these circumstances. But, well, let's see if Junior can help power them forward here with an off shot onto a player who will maybe be peeking. No, they back off. The timing wasn't working out for them, so now they're going to have a peek towards Cat.
Slacks is holding the Molotov. Now he's going to force them out as the smoke fades. That's what he's trying to do, trying to make them uncomfortable here. Smoke comes out from the other side, so there's no other presence top mid. Rush was kind of poking and prodding over towards B. I think he may have caught a nade for his trouble. They've also got this lurk in Palace. So this was a little bit of a default, focusing on the mid fight. And at least for the moment, Amity has done a good job of limiting the contact in towards mid, while providing enough utility to slow them down. What a surprise. Carson's trying to get through Con. Malbs very much ready for that. There's a nade pop to try and set him up. I like the idea, but Malbs on the other side of it was very much prepared. And now I think George back turned. That's a freebie. Palace Lurk now gone. It's just these mid players who are all stacked up, trying to make their way through Con, eating a flashbang. Beautiful sequence from Slacks. Malbs comes in for the next. And there's just it's a complete non-starter. It's a complete non-starter. It's nothing doing. They're not even going to get a kill.
That
They didn't
is
even land a bullet, I don't think.
I think that's the second round already that M80 have had all 5 standing, maybe in the third. This is wild, honestly. It's domination, 4 deaths. That's it. That's all M80 have after 5 rounds. And Nouns, look, I mean, they tried it. They bought a couple of times. It's yielded absolutely nothing. That was a full buy, and Rec not clear it at all. Slacks looking crisp with the op. Everyone playing their role to perfection, and Nouns are being completely stymied. And I think part of the reason why is that Carson, a player who they kind of look towards to open up space and find those frags, in particular on the mid side of most maps, especially Mirage, he's getting nothing. Like, he's immediately getting taken down to the ground. 0 frags on the board for him. And now they're back to the text. They're charging in now.
This could be tough. Yeah, the Waterfall Palace, they might actually see the small plant here. Rec overextends. Only 1, probably not worth the price here, because now they've pushed on in. Now they're just trying to run down this AWP. And they're so aggressive. You let them in. You let the bomb get planted. This is a very different ball game now. This is a get good round, get right round from Nouns. Even with the inferior weaponry, they are so very deadly. And this could get real weird. Slacks clearing in, Mobs alongside him. 20 players ready for this fight. The flashbang is good, but not good enough. It was actually a TK on. Techie comes out, and it's just going to be left to Junior. I don't love this hold with just a deagle. And indeed, recovery on. Still, that is the most successful round by a long shot that we've actually had so far for Nouns. They get on towards the site, they find the light site, they find the light pressure, they execute quickly as well. So that is going to put a thought into the back of M80's mind of, hey, we do need to be careful about how frisky we're getting in towards mid, how many numbers we're pulling in there, because this is a team that can threaten.
Yeah, and I mean, that's, you know, Nouns' bread and butter are those quick, rapid executes onto the sites. In that case, it made sense with the Tech 9s, the advantage on the move. In terms of accuracy, they go in, they find one onto Rec, but Rec at least gets a frag before he falls. And that's the reason why that retake's a little bit easier for M80 afterwards. And 3 players for Nouns were over towards leaning into CT, perhaps intentionally, hoping that if M80 peeked into them, they could take care of business. But, you know, it just wasn't enough. The utility was strong from M80. Trades were even better. And in the end, they just spotted out all the players they had to. In particular, Junior, who just tried to peek around, hit that deagle shot. Once he misses it, I mean, it's just difficult for him to do much else with that M4A4 kind of spraying down so many bullets available. 6-0 for M80. Nouns, like you said, that was their most successful round. We'll see if they ratchet up the pace again. Looks like they want to go for a quick mid-fight. Look who's here, of course, it's Carson. And he wants to find something, but, I mean, M80 aren't really giving them much at all in the early fights. Now Mobs comes out, and he finds one. At least Carson found one before he falls, but this is still very tough for Nouns.
Players dropped and out. What do we got going on here at this point?
Kind of stalled out here. They have the Palace lurk, right, George?
Carson
behind the smoke. He's coming at the right time. I don't know if he heard anything. I don't think so. M80 are just walking down ramp, but they left A wide open. This could be a huge oversight.
So what are they going to try and do?
Because once George looks around and realizes no one's here, they could just come in from connector and they have a free bomb site. Since realized,
this is a possibility.
We got to get back here.
Looking the wrong way. That's the bomb. This could be big trouble on. Oh, let's go on board with Mobs. They're pushing in towards the site. It's all about Mobs. It's all about the timing for Mobs. He's just missed them into Con, but he's going to have this play out catwalk. And at this point, Sin is hearing this, so the B players are going to get active as well. And actually, I think Nouns have mostly got themselves out of the danger zone. They're going to be expecting a play back around. Mobs is still going to catch the first uppercut, and the next as well. Sin combos with him, so the bomb is down, but their defense is vaporized. George might even think about just getting the heck out of Dodge and saving what he's got, because there's no way he's taking this round. This is going to be a bang-on 7-0 for M80. Unless George pulls off a miracle, and he's not even going to have the time to do so. He just wants to save his gun.
Yeah, that's... Oh, my goodness. That is so tough for Nouns. I mean, look, they had an opening there, but M80 quickly rectified things. 3 players get caught out at connector. And another solid retake. At least Nouns are getting bomb plants, but like I can't believe we're talking about this. Like, hey, Nouns are getting bomb plants, a team that we consider to be one of the better ones in NA. But I guess that's how big the gap is between M80 and some of these other squads right now. And M80 just keeps getting better. All right. Well, and Nouns We're going to get utility executed here onto A. I think a fast hit would be best for them at this point. Just simplify things.
I kind of want to see just a straight up A take. So they got a jungle smoke, but there's a gap between the jungle smoke and the stair smoke. It actually kind of looks like it's misthrown, I'd imagine. That's a problem. It's going to give a lot of room for Malls to operate, and we know what kind of a tough customer he is. The swing back in, the clear out mid. Malls gets both. Now we can come back and deal with the A push. So they've dealt with mid. This means that it is so very comfortable. Flashbang to get them around on the stairs, but Slacks is here to support. Malls is dealt with, but it's still an advantage. It's a massive utility advantage as well. Sin just doesn't want to give up his life. He wants to play that. Slacks has got them on a line, and a bomb plan for Junior feels like a distant thought. He knows as soon as he tries to punch the numbers in, there are players here that they are going to punish.
Yes.
And if it wasn't Swisher, it would have been the walkthrough from Sin. There is just no chance. You find one solution, one player position, you get shut down from the other. Nouns right now look completely out of their depth.
Nouns need to call a timeout. I'm surprised they haven't. Like, guys, try to talk things over.
They've already burned at least one.
There it is. Sorry, they did use one already, but I'm saying use another one here because it's getting out of control.
This is Mirage. This is home turf for Nouns. This is the map they are perhaps most comfortable on in the pool right now.
Most known for?
Most known for, certainly, and they are getting whomped.
I mean,
no other way to put it.
Look
they don't look like they're in the same league right now as M80.
No, and I mean, we have to talk about their stats over the last 3 months, Mike. On Mirage, Nouns 13-1. Only one loss. And I think that was, I don't even know who that was to. I can't remember right now, but it was a while ago. And they're plus 66 round differential, and they are getting absolutely decimated by M80.
The one loss, I went back and checked.
Okay.
It was an overtime loss to NRG.
Okay, I was going to say NRG, but I wasn't 100%. But yeah, thanks for confirming.
They haven't lost since March. Crazy.
It's wild.
But sometimes one thing to note is when a map's just working perfectly for you, you're maybe not putting more work into it. You may be just stagnating, and maybe a team like M80 to read some tendencies. Mobs is run down at the very least. They got some space here. Swisher might be in trouble, and he is indeed. That spray is punished. Did a lot of damage onto George. But the interesting maneuver here is they're going to try and punish B, and Sin's actually taking control in towards the apps.
What a
nice
spot.
Clear. Great catch on Slacks. Prepared for the aggression out from Carson. Now as that smoke clears, Junior's very lucky to get away with that one. Slacks down at 3. His shot went wide. That's going to be up to Sin to deliver. Likely going to try this in the retake. Don't imagine he's going to get active beforehand, but if they overlook apartments, it will cost them.
How do you even think about apartments as a possibility?
Slacks is in trouble. Slacks is in trouble.
Yeah.
How far does George take this? Not far enough. That smoke's going to tip them off. Now they're going to know. Now they're going to know. That means Rex going to get called over, presumably for the catwalk play. The smoke deep in towards market. They don't want to test that. So Sin and we'll just have to hang on here while Slacks and Rhett get into position up the catwalk. They know they haven't cleared apps. That's why Junior's so wary of it. But George being low, I think it's just going to require that Junior steps up. A little bit of a hero play. Ooh. George is gone. All on Junior. Let's go on board. What can he do from the van? There's the first spotted. Can't find the headshot position now revealed. And down he goes. Never a chance. The difference for Nouns is at least they're getting these bombs down now, but they're never getting much of a convincing case made in the post. It's just been M80 every step of the way.
And one thing that is extremely different for Nouns is Rush being kept off the score sheet. Blanked 0-9. He's a player that has had a lot of impact on this Nouns roster since he joined up, and to see him completely silenced is kind of shocking, honestly. I mean, the whole team has been quiet, but let's hope that Nouns can get things back together. I don't want to say Mirage is a write-off just yet because of how good Nouns are on it. They just need that one round, and they can get things back in. They can get back into this one, in my opinion. But it feels like M80 are giving them nothing at all. Even on the retakes, like you said, I mean, Nouns are getting some positioning, but M80 are just picking them apart every single turn. They're not giving them a chance to settle in.
No. No. They look so dang polished. I mean, It's tough to read too much into it, I know. It's also, there's been some nice bits of aggression for M80. You know, there was that double ram push a few rounds ago. There was obviously the deep apartments control from Sin, but it's very calculated. It's not overbearing. They're not just running it down, certainly. Not the way that M80 operates. Here's clear in towards ramp. Rex got this space now, knows that there's no one here. That's going to be a bit of a tip-off for M80 to expect pressure elsewhere on the map. And if Rex continues to see nothing, with presence in towards mid, you could see him get active. I think this wants to lean towards B. The lack of the Palace alert kind of indicates that. There's the spot, certainly. Mobs can't quite get the shot, but he can go with the reinforce. Okay. This time, those swishers down early. Slacks can't get much. And finally, this is working out. Finally, this is working out. Mobs, though, wants to ruin it. He might just do so. Dude's been incredible. He's here in the market. He's begging for a duel. He's begging for a fight. They need to cross to get this bomb down, but they needed a smoke beforehand. It's going to be a full 3-on-3 retake. There's no more util. They've got whatever nades down they're going to do over on the down side. It's up to M80 to dictate this one. Rush just trying to play out, trying to play anti-flash. Mobs goes 1-for-1. Here comes the apps player. Rec connects. It's all on Rush. He just got his first kill in this round. Now he has to do it all himself. He's got the one. But did he realize where Slacks was coming from?
Yeah, I saw him.
Now he knows. Now he's got the jiggle. Now he's got the timing. Slacks has got the shot. No scope hit. His 13th kill. And double digits on for M80. 10 unanswered rounds. You ain't getting one today, Nouns.
What is that? I mean, just unbelievable. Right when it feels like, okay, Rush has got this. 1v2, hits the first one, knows where Slacks is. Slacks like, hold on a second. Just let me peek around here and get a no-scope instant shot as soon as he comes around that corner. That is absolutely maddening for Nouns if you're on their side. 10-0. Nothing feels like it's going your way. They've got, I think, 3 or 4 bomb plants in a row now. It's just M80 continue to get those retakes going. And I mean, the utility use is fantastic. And now they're going to push up mid. Carson doesn't even expect it. They've already isolated him. The rest of Nouns is going to try and charge into the A site, which may work out for them. There's only one player left here for now. They're going to pop the smokes, though, with those nades. M80 want visibility. They've got it. Mob's going to take down CJ. And then George trying to desperately get onto the site to support his teammates. But M80 are swarming. They're ready to strike.
Wreck. Oh, just the freest kill of his life, and the reposition sets him up for the second, and it's just totally Jude. George, there's just nothing. There was nothing. They knew they couldn't just plant, right? Not with 5 alive on the other side. They had to take some aggression somewhere. They risk it on CT, and Rec is just waiting with open arms. Just a big old bear hug from Rec crushes the life from them. Oh boy. You know, John, fun note.
Yes.
I got to meet Rec's parents in Dallas.
Oh, really?
That was quite nice. Yeah, he was playing in the show match, and he had brought them out. It was the first event they'd attended. They're, I guess, California local. But it was their first time seeing their son play, and they got to watch him play on stage in the show match. So, pretty darn cool.
That is very cool. That's awesome.
Nice moment.
Yeah.
We love supportive sports parents. Okay. Rec trades out 1-for-1. CJ gets an advantage. These have been few and far between for Nouns. See if they can get out of this half with something. Anything. Really, anything.
One round.
Just give them one round. I think they're going to get it. Swishers down and out. Certainly Slacks and Sin are going to attempt this. It's time for the German maneuver. Let's get on out. But Carson's position in Palace, this should be the sticking point. Yeah. 3 kill found there. Messy Galil spray, but we do have 1 round. No one gets 12 rounds in a row on Nouns. And so with that, we will head to the half. We're back in for the second half for what could be a very quick half indeed. If M80 wins pistol, it is over, frankly, pretty much. So let's see. What are you cooking, Nouns? What do you got for us? Can you show us anything here on Mirage? Well, CJ can't. He gone.
Ooh, well, I was going to say 11 is all they get, but that's not a promising start for Nouns. And look at this. They've given up the A site completely. M80's realized it, so they're going to get the bomb back over. George, suspicious with all these smokes thrown down. Could get one here, and he does. Nice shot from George. That could lead a path back into this, but he doesn't clear stairs. Uh-oh. Swisher the headshot, 4v3. Bomb almost certainly going to be planted eventually. Or yeah, they're going to hurry it up.
Yeah, they've got the whole site. They've got the whole site. That contact in apps completely pulled off the defense for now. Now they got a brutal retake to the O. Control CT means Slacks is uber comfortable planting this bomb. And how do you get back in? You've got a kit, you've got a smoke. Those help. But there is work to be done before either of those will come into play. They're going to try and clear through CT. Heavy reinforcements here for M80. They've been playing anti-flash on this. There is no flash. Don't have to worry about that, but it's an out-now fight, and it's an out-now fight that they are winning. Goodbye, everybody. Clean as can be for M80. It's not quite a full-on ace, but, you know, Swisher having a good pistol day, apparently, and that might be all she wrote here on Mirage.
Yeah, it's going to be exceptionally difficult now for Nouns to come back into this one. And I mean, I'm just looking at their results over those last 3 months, like we were talking about, like that only loss that came through was in overtime against NRG. Outside of that, like, they had a couple of overtimes against NRG, in fact, and won the last one they played. They've never struggled this much on Mirage. I don't remember the last time Nouns were shut out in such a significant fashion here. George tries to charge out towards mid. Malp says, I know your tricks. I know what you're going to do. He immediately erases him with the AK, waiting there at top mid. Molotov thrown. They know more players by BR. CJ actually gets one and does a ton of damage to Sin, but it will still be a 4v3 in favor of M80.
Praying for salvation. Carson giving up an audio cue there. Oh, here's the spots. Wreck actually caught one in the dome, so she couldn't quite punish it. So they know where Carson is. But dealing with him sets them up for Junior. Here we go. All right. Little Deeg magic.
Zink gets caught out, yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, M80. This was your easiest chance. There will be many more.
It's not over.
See. Are they going to let them heat up? Are they going to let them cook here? Wrecker Mob's linking up. Carson's getting aggressive, though. Oh, the Palace Wrap with a man advantage. This isn't something they're going to expect. They're going to realize something's up when they realize, well, there's no one here. But actually, Carson anticipated that they would have rotated off. Now he's getting drawn back over. This could be a conceded bomb plant. There's no one to defend A.
I just don't know if they expect that flank from ramp still. Like, that's, I think Carson's the snake in the grass.
Open.
Yeah.
Planning open. And that's going to be shut down. So now for Wreck, it's about damage. Getting a bomb plant might be impossible. He needs to get damage. Perhaps even just die before time. And Junior will do him that mercy. So Nouns back against the wall. A wounded animal, perhaps the most dangerous here.
No one 13-1s Nouns. They get their second round here. Man, well, I mean, on the other side, timeout going to be called from M80. They certainly don't have to call a timeout here, but I understand it because even though you're winning by a significant margin, they've struggled on anti-ecos before. It used to be a bigger problem for them than it is right now, and I think even at IM Dallas, there were some issues with the anti-ecos going against them, right? So maybe they just want to say, hey, guys, that was weird. We should have been able to win this. We should already be on the next map. Let's see what they're going to cook here with the 4-spy coming through. It'll be 3 Tech 9s, the 250, and Sin on the Mac 10. It says series point. It's not, folks. Just map point. We're on map number 1 right here of this BO3. It's the upper bracket semi-final. The winner of this will go to the upper bracket final. The loser still has another chance in that lower bracket.
For Nouns, I'm not going to believe in a comeback until they put a lot of rounds on this board. But honestly, even just getting a couple here, just so it's not quite such a crushing loss, a cosmetic comeback would not be a bad thing for the series as a whole, right? Because it's going to be tough. We're headed to the new Vertigo. Things are going to get weird there. Nouns needed to get some juices flowing, so they don't just feel like they've been utterly blanked here. But this could be it. The take successful. Rush has got the 1. Or they're not exactly going to want to deal at range with CJ. He's able to collect. If they get the bomb down, that would be nice. But it can't be collected. It dropped en route, and they have been picked apart. So nicely played from CJ to give up a rush, but kept them from actually getting any sort of control on the site itself. And there's nothing doing for Sin.
Yeah, I'm surprised Malbs went for that extended engagement from long range with the Tech 9 towards Cat because, like, he just kept getting peppered down and eventually falls without doing much damage against Nouns. And, I mean, yes, it's just a 4-spy with the Tech 9s. They gained space, though. Just expected a bomb plant to come through, given how much space they were able to gain towards that B site. So, Nouns get a third. M80's on a full-on save here. Nothing purchased up aside from 2 flashbangs for Sin. Probably a 4th for Nouns will be coming through here, although we've seen some crazy rounds before with the Glocks. Swisher, well, he won't be doing anything crazy. Junior sprays him down, and Junior is just going to get 2 more. Nicely done. George finds one onto Sin, and the round's already over, as expected.
As expected. Here's where it gets interesting. Here's where the guns are going to come out. We're going to have the AKs. We're not going to have the limitations of the SMGs, presumably. But, I mean, look, this already looks so much better than getting 13-1. You've done at least a little bit of cosmetic cover-up. Might need a full-on facelift, but the first step has been taken here, John. They've got, like, a skincare routine. They're getting proper sleep. Trying to improve things.
Like I said, the one thing going for Nouns right now is that they're very, very strong on Mirage. So they can recover themselves. And like you said, it's going to take a lot more than this because they have to win every single remaining round with no mistakes.
That's a missed T-smoke. I don't know what it was supposed to be. I'd imagine either con or top.
Oh, that nade is so good.
That's a good problem. Oof. Sin gets dealt with, but are they going to realize that B's actually vacant? This is a big problem now. Smoke down. Rush in trouble. And hang on. Bodies are falling away. Extended engagement. And this could be it. This could be it. Junior next. A fall, a one-tap. All that Mobs requires. 13-4. The mid-play looked good, but as soon as M80 realized how many bodies are committed into that fight, they know they can just hit the gas in towards B, and that's it. That's the reality of an 11-1 half. There's too many chances. There's too many chances to close, and M80 only needed 2.
Yeah, I think that was under 35 minutes for that map. M80 were just speed running the finish line here. Everything under their control. They lost the pistol, and then as soon as they had their first gun round, there you go. I mean, they won the round, and it was over. So very surprising to see Nouns come out that flat on their map pick, a map that they performed on exceptionally well against tough competition in North America as well, in particular NRG. And here, I mean, M80 is just completely dominant. So I don't know, Mike. I'm kind of a little speechless because I expected this to be a very tightly contested affair on this map, as was the case the last time M80 played against them here. Went the full 24. Here, it's not even close.
I think we picked a good Katia player to watch on
Oh,
this
yeah,
one.
we did.
Mobs was for Ryan 2.33 KDR kills per round. I mean, that is stupid. This is dumb. This is crazy. His kill death ratio is bonkers. 21, 6, and 9. That's the reality. This is an M80 team that wants to be back in the Pro League. They know what that tasted like. They almost made the playoffs at the dang Pro League. They're a team that deserves to be back there, and they know it. And they're here to prove it to everybody watching. And I'm just thinking, looking toward Vertigo. I'm very intrigued to see how this is gonna go. I ain't picking about against M80. You know, I think Nouns have their work cut out for them in this one. I think this could be a very one-sided map too as well. I'm eager to get it underway, which we'll be able to do when we come back. We're back into map number 2, into Vertigo, into the fun. A little bit of Verti here between M80 and Nouns, and I am so intrigued to see how they handle this new A site. Big changes on Vertigo. If you're not familiar, they opened up a path straight from elevators over towards the side hall. There's also a catwalk wraparound A. Also, things have just been shifted up in general in terms of spawn timing. Mobs is enjoying it. Oh my goodness, they got the boost up as well. Nouns, we're not expecting that at all after Mobs' first contact, so they're already down 2 players, and this is already looking a bit dire. They've thrown a take smoke. They have another smoke on it, because you have to now, except the problem is M80s are playing right ahead of it, and Mobs is not missing. So that makes this very comfortable indeed here, John.
Yeah, I'm just... Why is Nouns picking a start T side? Like, I mean, I know Vertigo can lean T side sometimes, but... I feel like CT side is the way to start it off on the defensive end. Maybe they thought, okay, we're better on our T sides. We'll get more aggressive quickly and do something. But that's just another dominant pistol round coming from M80.
I think they're guessing that the opened up site is going to present vulnerabilities. And
Perhaps.
They're trying to punish it.
I'm still torn on that, Mike. I think that it opens up more opportunities for the CTs to retake, in fact, because they're not just all bottled up in one direction. Carson's going to get a trade here that could open up some space towards the A site. They did force up into this round. Here comes a smoke thrown by M80 and one from Nouns on the other side. Yeah, this flank is going to be very lethal. If they can activate quickly enough, George actually gets another one on direct.
Oh, this is problems now. CJ's playing the Henny spot as well, so he could actually catch this flank off guard. This could get very weird indeed. There's the contact switcher clears out. Henny Jr.'s able to take both. Massive play. Now it's requiring a Slacks clutch. And Nouns have just made this work with the techies. Changing up the smoke angle, that working to great effect. Slacks trying to play the fade, but George is watching this, so he got it every step of the way. Nice round coming through from Nouns. Some powerful, potent play from the Tech-9. This is what we expect out of Nouns. Something we really didn't get any of on Mirage.
No, not at all. I mean, we did see a few nice clips from Junior with the Deagle over on Mirage, but here the Tech-9 swings on 2 players and makes it look a lot easier than it honestly should. Wow, 2K for him. That's what really powered them forward, honestly. And of course, a couple of frags at the beginning don't hurt either. Tied up 1-1. That's the type of round that Nouns needed to build up a little bit of confidence. On the other side, M80 are stacking up towards B, are gambling that Nouns want to head in this direction. Opening frag from Swisher now. Will he escape? Well, yeah, and actually, Rek gets another one onto George. There are guns on the ground. They took a lot of damage, but they do have the man advantage. Oh, timing. I thought Slacks would have seen CJ. Now CJ's got the audio cue. He could farm here. He could get all of them. There's one. The second. Rek is going towards CT instead, but that's problematic for M80.
This doesn't look like it could be a shutdown. It's going to require Malls to make a big play. Ooh, and you're just wrapping around the catwalk. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the nice element that you're just going to see catch Mobs off guard. I had no idea. It's a huge new element of it in terms of where you can pop out. We'll see how much that comes into play. I'm loving how much this is going towards the A side off rip here from Nouns.
Yeah.
Like, look, they've changed things up. They're getting chaotic. Let's eat. Let's eat here towards A.
It's the opposite of what I saw in that previous match I was talking about in South America, where they just avoided the A site on both T sides and went mostly B. Maybe a couple of A hits in the mix, but here, Nouns, they want to use it. And like I was talking about, like there's so many changes that happened on that A site that it's hard to say whether the CTs or the Ts are going to benefit, but that catwalk is going to be a key place to contest, both from the Ts and the CTs on the defensive side. We'll have to wait until M80 gets the guns out to really see some interesting stuff here, but yeah, I mean, you're right, Mike. Again, Nouns look like they want to see what's up towards this A ramp. M80, four-man peak with the USPs. Is that what's going to happen? Seems like it. Nade's going to do a ton of damage. Uh-oh. Yeah, there it is. And the guns finish the job on a couple of players.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Junior.
Could have got caught off guard there by the USPs. Does eventually. It's just not really going to matter much into the round, is it?
No.
Bomb's going to be retrieved here in a moment. Maybe they get their hands on this gun, but it requires some more damage. Hang on. At least a second kill. It's not the worst thing in the world considering they just brought USPs into it, but far from punishing onto Nouns. But now we get a gun.
Yeah,
now we get a buy.
This is what we've been waiting for. Buy on buy. Nothing really much to talk about here. Just M80 taking a gamble, getting a couple of frags. Economic damage is the most they could have hoped for out of that round, and that's kind of what they got with a couple of players being forced to buy up again here. But that economy is actually flowing really well for Nouns when you look at their side. On M80, Slacks, AWP in hand, 3 A1Ss. Sin, I think there's a gun that's going to be bought up by him. Yes, of course. Plenty of money there. M4s for the M80 squad. I'm curious to see where Slacks is going to post up. I would imagine A-ramp, given how heavy the presence has been there from Nouns. And yeah, look at this. 4 players headed towards A. They really want to try and cut off Nouns, who have peeked out ramp every single round. And guess what they don't do here? They don't peek out ramp at all. All 5 players are headed in towards the B side. I think there's one lurking around mid, that's CJ. But the other 4 are at the stairs.
Boy, here comes Annihilation on towards E. This time they're holding up, though. Swisher overwhelmed. Mark following up with 2. CJ in towards mid might be their only hope. Bomb stuck towards the steps. They need CJ to create some space. Slacks with a bad miss. Maybe he's going to free this up. Gets smoked down. Doesn't want to re-attempt the aggression against the op. Junior actually picking up extra utility to maybe give himself a little bit of space. That's for back quad. A little too deep. As the player's playing Dupree instead. Tends to be the big issue to get past. Stuff bailed out, smoked down, just to stall him out further. 45 seconds. I don't know how Nouns expect to crack this is the problem. They're hoping someone gives them a kill. They're hoping someone gives up a little bit of advantage.
M80 are too disciplined to let that happen, right? They're just going to sit back and wait for Nouns to come in their direction if they ever do. This could end up just being a save of the AKs. 23 seconds now. Junior, he's backing off. He's fading away after throwing the smoke. So nothing's going to happen this round. Nouns are just trying to get a save, and it's done. M80 will get a second.
Nice for M80 as well to keep the 4 alive. They've got no interest in hunting. They've got no interest in hunting. Far more important to keep their own guns alive. But now just recognizing they were in kind of a hopeless situation. CJ doesn't fancy his chances going back out and around. Junior's obviously stuck, kind of solo dolo there. So, call a stop on it. GG go next.
They tried B, it didn't work. I'm guessing they're just going to go back to the A ramp this round. We'll see.
Could imagine.
Yeah. That's my guess.
Very nice for M80 that they can actually stabilize this eco, though. That's they're going to be grateful for it. Even if they, in an ideal world, would have eliminated everybody, they are so happy to have a little bit more comfort. That nade doesn't take the bounce they were hoping for, so George actually makes it out. Junior's traded off rip, but Mobs is down. Considering what a nightmare he was for them to deal with on Mirage, maybe that's not the worst exchange in the world.
They're just going to push out this B site now, yeah.
Yeah, they're hitting in towards B. They're hitting in towards B. Slack couldn't come around to support initially. Now he's smoked off, so this has been successful. Bomb's going to be down. This should be a save call out from M80.
Wow. I mean, I guessed wrong. So did M80, I suppose, because they weren't really defending that B site very aggressively. and they are definitely going to call for the safe here. They're just way too out of position. They have a couple of flashes and some smokes, but it's not enough given the time left on the clock. I should say on the bomb. So Nouns strike right on back, will get a fourth for themselves, and that was very convincing on their part. Junior did enough, I guess, towards that A site to attract the attention of M80, and then Nouns just stormed on through, only needed one more on Swisher, and that was it. This is more of the series, or I should say map, we were expecting on Mirage.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Just decisive take, right? I mean, it's not a terribly complex round, but what Nouns do is they get contact. Junior gets the one kill he needs, gets traded immediately, but it causes enough confusion, sucks M80 far enough down into the ramp fight, that Nouns just immediately hit the gas. And it works beautifully on B. Get the one kill, isolate the site, smokes down, bomb down. Timeout. Now this is interesting. What could they have seen in that last round that would be calling for a timeout here after the win?
Could just be mind games.
I don't... No, I'd imagine this is Adren looking at something. I don't think this team is comfortable enough to be wasting timeouts on mind games. Especially after what we saw in Mirage. So I imagine this is some sort of an adjustment. Again, we don't really know how drilled Nouns are on Vertigo. So it could literally be just like, this is their chance to, oh, hey, you know how we ran that last one? You're going to change up this flash timing just a little bit. This smoke timing just a little bit. And I think I'm imagining this is going towards A now. Just because of that timeout agent.
I don't know.
I'm super curious.
I mean, look, 4B.
Double in towards mid early.
And the other...
The double up mid, that's huge. Rec catches the nade off rip here. But it's not going to slow him down much.
Yeah, Rec waiting. Clear. He will get the headshot on the first. Carson backs off now, trying to get the timing, and oh, Rec escapes without really taking that much damage at all. So that's really good for him. And on the other side, Slack's going to connect with the AWP. Rush has managed to make his way pretty far out here onto the B site. M80 realizing it, so they send 3 players in to try and isolate, but that Molotov's perfect, so it keeps them at bay. They've got the smokes and the util to get the site take, and perhaps even a plant here, unless M80 aggresses and Rec is walking out here, Mike.
That's a really good molly on the catwalk.
Yeah.
It slows down what they wanted to do. It kind of reroutes them a little bit. Nate flop. Actually does cost Rec his life. Junior follows up another through the smoke. So now this is getting a little bit more viable, but still down in the numbers. M80 didn't hear the tap. They didn't hear the tap. Slacks, this was punish specifically for that play, but without hearing the tap, he had to wait for confirmation. That's going to be some trouble. Junior's taking the initiative. Junior's going to get swung upon. There's the trade. It's all on Carson now. 1v2, viable for Carson. Playing over smoke to give himself a chance here, but position revealed, and now he's dive dodging. And they tagged him through. He's down so low. It's desperation on. They keep tapping the bomb, but one more straight bullet will end him. Through the smoke he goes, and finally it is collected. There are kits, so no problem on the timing, but Carson slippery in that one.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, using the smoke to full effect there. I thought for a moment he was going to slip through once more and maybe even get a frag and make that round Nouns's, but it just doesn't happen. Great effort, and here is where it all starts, that opener from Rec, and at the end, we saw that chaos already, but the opener from Rec is really important because, one, he stops all of Nouns's momentum trying to get into mid, and he evades any fire from Carson afterwards, who was just trying to get a trade, and that's also information gained from M80. So, well done. Third round picked up. We go back and forth again here. Nouns still plenty of cash. We'll get a full-on buy up here. Flashbang thrown. A couple of players blinded. Looking over the top of that smoke. It will be popped by Nouns. They don't see anything at all, and M80 are really trying to force Nouns to bring the fight to them. That was a little close there on that shot from Slacks to connecting on Malbs, but it worked out in the end. Malbs just wants to gain the space, gets one, Slacks gets another, and then Slack collects two. It's going to be back a little bit in favor of, I should say, Nouns getting a couple of frags, but M80 still have the advantage. 3v2, rush, timing, oh, a little bit off, doesn't realize Reckinson could have slipped through. Junior is actually going to flick around. He's been so good from this spot, continues to be so, and his teammate Rush actually isolates Swisher. It will be down to a 1v1. Junior so very low at 2 HP, and wins the fight! What a peak!
Oh my. Wow. Junior, I thought maybe he trusts his Molotov a little too much, but not gonna overlook it. He's out to a monstrous start here on Vertigo. Bet on himself. 1 bullet to the toes would have been enough out of that USP. He had no health to spare, but he hits the headshot, so it's never gonna need to be a question. Beautiful work from Junior. Just gorgeous. That's gonna be a big problem now for M80. Money's reset. They're in the doldrums. Life is difficult. Just gonna take the full eco here. A P250, a smoke, and a flash bought up.
Junior's looking very crispy, and not necessarily with the op here, just with everything else, like the pistols, the rifles. It's all going his way. And he's been that catalyst that Nouns needed on Mirage, and they're getting here on Vertigo.
There is information gained at the very least. Molotov gonna force 1 player back. Everybody's here. It's a full 5-man ramp setup. Might actually catch Carson. This would be nice. Hold on. Gun gained. It's gonna propel them in. That's a second gun gained. This is already successful. This is already successful. They can just save these weapons. An AK and an AUG. And this is a victory for M80.
You gotta go. You gotta go. You got a 5v3. You're not saving. You're at least gonna have a look at the site, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're still gonna attempt this. I don't know that the guns are necessarily going to attempt this. But they'll try. Hold on. Hold on. Just down to 2. Nouns, you can't do this. You can't lose here. You can't lose here. Not like this. Oh my goodness, it's just a CJ. There's plenty of time still on the clock, and there's a lot of bodies to deal with. He's found the first, but the ops en route. They're jumping through, and it's a USP to put him down. Sid will get right on that bomb. Make no mistake. A full eco. Not armor on 1 player. They bought a P250, 1 smoke, 1 flash, and that's all they needed.
I mean, that was fantastic for Mobs, though. He's the one with that P250, collects a couple immediately on that ramp push. They get the 2 rifle upgrades, and then, I mean, it's absolutely on at that point. Going for the retake. Nouns getting a little aggressive. They're thinking, okay, they forgot the numbers. Maybe we can catch them off because they just have pistols. At least some of them do, because there were a couple of rifles picked up by them. They just couldn't figure out how to deal with that re-aggression from M80. Post-plant. 10th round here. M80 1 round back from Nouns. Swisher's got that nade. It's gonna connect. Oh yeah, that's a chonky one. Carson and George down to around or below half health. Even Rush and CJ taking some shrapnel damage from that nade. And now that incendiary burns away, so Carson gonna have a peek. Swisher got the incendiary again. Yeah, that's gonna go below. Oh, what a peek from Carson. Gets Swisher down for the count, and now M80's going to have to reinforce that B site.
Oh my goodness.
What is happening?
No. No. Come on. We can't have 2 of these back to back, surely. They don't have any armor again. What is in the water today here on Vertigo?
I don't know.
I know it's a strange new map, but it didn't suddenly make pistols buffed. Ah, Recky's just so snappy. That actually could have been one of the fights that catches you off guard, right?
Right.
But golly, is he crisp. Still, they're going to try just overwhelm Rec, and with just the A1S, there's the possibility he just runs out of bullets. Here they go. Rec trying to put himself in a position where he's going to be able to fade away as this happens. That's bomb confirmation. Two kills found. There's the reload. Nice awareness. Rec back into the action. Might have to concede the bomb, but no. Reinforcements are now on. They won't have to do anything of the sort. Really nice sequence from Rec, and he will take all 5 kills in the round. Yes, it's just an anti-eco, but considering the context, that is a very sure pair of hands to have on scene.
Oh, yes. No question. I mean, it was the similar situation to what M80 had pulled off against Nouns in the previous round. We're both thinking, oh, I mean, it's happening once more. But Rec gets that important one, expecting a little bit of a cheeky play, and then right here, going up to boost up and peeking back and forth, giving himself the chance to get one, go back to cover, get another one, go back to cover, plays it to perfection, and doesn't allow Nouns to even get the bomb plant after a wicked start with those pistols. They will be back to the rifles now, 3 AKs and 2 Galils. On the other side, M80 looks like they want to get a little aggressive here. Peeking around, clearing out space into mid. Look at Slacks. I mean, he's going right into the angle that CJ's holding. He wants this. Here he comes. Those spots him. Both players missed their shots, though, and that's the end of that engagement. Rec's going to keep the space. That's important. A lot of map control for M80 to find there.
He almost looks like he's going to push further with it. Thinks better of it. Fades away, but they're comfortable off of mid. This allows the third player to hedge over towards A, right? Because you're usually going to have a mid lurk if you're going for E split. So that's how M80 is reading this. It means that Slacks gets sucked further in towards that A defense. They're throwing a little bit of a fake here, but so we're not seeing anything. They shouldn't really pull anything. And actually, a boost has been assembled here. Mobs. I give them the audio cue and doing it. Can't stick around on that. Mobs actually going back to check mid to make sure that audio cue didn't pull them forward. This could work out on the timing for Nouns. Slacks has no idea. Slacks has no idea. Slacks is dead to rights. Oh, this is such a problem. Not quite realizing how exposed he was, perhaps. But Sin needs to put in some work, and meanwhile, Carson is wrapped with the catwalk. They're not prepared for that new position. This round is a non-starter. It's 6 on the board. And Switch just has to try and save.
That's one weakness I've seen on the defense here for M80. They haven't had a player posted up on Cat once, and they've been abused twice there from that position. So they need to make...
It's like, you could even see the moment of swapping the gun out, vaguely aware that the catwalk peak can be there, but you just didn't have the feel, the innate feel for exactly where your crosshair needs to be kind of situation.
Exactly. So Nouns going to continue to fight into this first half. They take a 6th round. So at the very least, worst case scenario for them, it's a 6-6 tie. Much better than 11-1. They can tell themselves that much. And okay, Rush somehow too close to the bomb. Unforgiving CS2 bomb right there.
It's fine though. It's fine. It shouldn't be a big issue in this final round. One last round of play. See what we're cooking. Let's see what M80's got. Again, they should have a pretty decent buy as well. So we're going to get one last nice gun around to show between these two squads. Can we get an even scoreline, or will Nouns sit in the lead? That round, it just felt like M80 had the good initial lead, and then kind of whiffing the boost a little bit made them doubt themselves.
Yeah, that boost could have been so potent, right? If they actually pull it off. But once they miss it and they give away that audio cue, you're right. I think that's when the dominoes start toppling over in favor of Nouns. Mobs, smoke thrown, so he's going to try pushing this. Junior could get caught off because his op... Oh, now he looks around towards scaffolding, but it's too late.
Nice
Mobs
flash.
will catch him off. That's a very good find. The opper, one of the big pieces, I would say, in this first half, Junior is gone.
Yeah, he's been a constant threat here at the bottom of the A ramp. He's been such a nuisance for them to deal with. That is a big loss early on for Nouns. Seems like they're going to mass and hit B as a response to this. They're certainly milling about. They've given up all the deep ramp control. You do have CJ waiting around as the lurk. Seems like they want to reinforce him in mid. Big mid play. 3 in mid now. Just George down below. Slacks could have his hands full. Until sailing over. Trying to catch the boost, trying to catch the split. Slacks actually gives up this space to try and reinforce the site itself, and that allows so much room for CJ. I think his mid protocols have been an issue, and Mobs might pay the price, but no, he spotted the one. Slacks is ready for it, and it's all good. Giving the ground crew a false sense of security, and Slacks plays that to perfection. So 6-all, we'll be back. 6 all at the half here. I think M80 are going to be pretty pleased about that one, considering the start they had to the half. It's a nice recovery on. And now for Nouns, we got to see the second. I liked a lot of it they were cooking, particularly with the A takes here on Vertigo, considering the changes. Took nice effect over on the catwalk. What are they going to have here on the defense, I'd like to see?
Defense has been spotty for them so far in this series. I agree with you, Michael. We'll have to wait and see what we get from them, but I'm more curious to see what M80's got cooked up here on their team side. Swisher walks out. Junior watching catwalk, but it doesn't yield him anything. Mulbs and Slacks combine for 3. Carson and George are alive. Carson on notice, creeping up to the site, could catch someone off, and no, it's over. M80 win the pistol again.
That's a lot of clean pistols for M80.
Yeah, I think have they lost a player in any of the pistols?
They've won 4 of 4.
It's been so clean. Like I can't recall.
I'm not sure that they have. I think in the first half of this one did they?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Pistol round gods.
Yeah.
Follow up not always as easy, but with this just on the USPs should be fine.
Yeah, this is the right guess from Nouns, of course. M80 leaning into the remodeled A site so far. Carson. Oh, this is trouble. George is going to get one onto Sin after Junior falls by the wayside. So pick up a Mac 10. They read the stack. Swisher's all the way onto B. No one's home, so he's calling for his teammates to rotate over. But Nouns have read this immediately, and they've rotated themselves onto mid, and they'll eventually flood into this A site. Excuse me, B site.
What can you do?
Yes.
All right, when this smoke fades, Molly's going to go on, presumably. A little close up. Actually don't like this positioning, but he plays it off.
Yeah, seriously.
Absolutely beautifully. I think put himself in one of the more risky spots he could have. But, you know, if you're going to deliver like that, you can stand wherever the hell you want.
Honestly, Rec is comfortable on that B site. You saw it on CT side and again here.
He's a great anchor for them.
Yeah.
It's interesting, right? Because they made him more mobile at times, swapping him and Swish around in terms of who's staying stuck still on the site and who's sort of pushing in towards mid. Rec was the longtime B anchor here, and he's been shifted in towards more of a mid role on this map in particular, at times. But he's certainly comfortable swapping back over towards B.
Yeah. I think that's why he's been put towards mid. Oh, hold on. Swish is going to get an opener. Rush gets the trade. Carson looking around, hoping to get one back, and he will, but he's also insta-traded. 3v3. I'd say slightly to M80's advantage with how low Rush is at 37 HP. Molotov sails in. Nouns gambling a little bit, swinging all 3 players back to A.
They're correct. They've got the right read. This is what M80 want to do. This is what they want to cook, and they've actually slipped into the side hall. So when did they realize, oh, there's the spot, but there's the check, and Rec ready for it. Rec ready for it all. Oh, my goodness. Rec, the presence of mind to not overlook what his teammates hadn't checked.
But, wow. Rec has been a stud on Vertigo. Unbelievable stuff. Mulbs is still doing his thing, right? He's still got 16 frags, and, you know, he had that impressive performance, especially on the eco round where they managed to pull that off on their CT side. But now, I mean, Rec is putting on a clinic. That was some beautiful stuff. I thought Nouns had a pretty good chance of getting back into that round, but instead, Rec just insta-deletes them. All 3 players were gone within seconds of each other. Swisher's now going to get dinked down to 21 HP. Throws a pop flash for Slacks, and there we go. Slacks going to move on forward. There is a frag that comes through from Junior, and, well, that will be all pretty much on to B. I think the rest of the players will probably opt for a save here. They do spot one player lurking around over at the bottom of ramp. That's Mulbs, who will fade off. He doesn't want to lose his life and cost his team perhaps, put his team in perhaps a very difficult situation.
CJ got a gun out of this.
Yeah.
CJ got a gun. I don't know if he's going to try and risk that.
I don't know if he's going to move on.
Bomb ticking away. I mean, the question, what can Carson find? They don't have kits. But the players are low. Like, they shouldn't be possible. But it might be. So they make the move. Slash shutting down the first. Carson finds the one, but now it's just a waiting game. It's just about stalling him out as much as possible. He knows it, so he's rushing on in, but Mulbs is there in the nick of time. That gets very messy. But it is still going to be the win for M80, and that's what counts.
I would have liked a little bit more patience from CJ in the situation if I'm on Nouns, because Carson had the opportunity to activate and get one on a flanking maneuver, sort of, right, coming from CT, and he does. But that happened before, right? So maybe CJ comes a little bit later. The attention is diverted back towards CT spawn. No, it just doesn't happen. Timing. It is a fickle thing that you have to be quite perfect on when you're trying to make those types of retakes. Anyway, M80's on to double digits. They haven't given up a single round to Nouns here. And their T side continues to flow along very nicely.
Oh, player spotted. Junior.
Carson.
Slipping away. Oh, Mobs is just walking all the way up. He didn't see Junior. He didn't see Junior. He didn't see Carson, rather. But he's still able to get it done. Junior at least able to trade that up. That could have been disastrous if they let him win.
They're on B. They're on B.
Well, this is a problem now. George gone. Pressure on to Rush. Rush is the last bastion of defense here. Junior's trying to change that, but poke up is going to be very tough. So they're going to battle ahead of it. That's a massive risk, and Junior pays the penalty for it. Rush can't really get past this. Well, I'm going to be planted, and you'd imagine this turns into a save, but Rush seems low to give it up. And wait us out. He will give up his life, leaving CJ all on his lonesome. Wrong side of the map. No chance here.
Probably not going to see a heavy chase from M80 here to take CJ down, but I imagine they're at least going to send one player poking his nose around to see if they can take that AK out of CJ's hands. But they have to be absolutely thrilled with how this one has started here in the second half. 11th round picked up. I mean, going back to that first half, I believe this is their 5th in a row. Maybe 6 in a row, excuse me. Yeah, not much of a hunt. They don't have to. They want to keep the economy healthy. Nouns are really getting their backs shoved right against the wall. That's just a great maneuver from M80. Like, it felt like it was the plan all along to get some noise, make some noise towards A. They had a player all the way up to scaffolding, into the side hall. Nouns were expecting that the hit was going to come towards A, but while that's happening, Swisher walks onto B, gets one, opening found, utility sails in, and they take the site very effectively. And an opener again. I mean, look, this is just getting very, very concerning for Nouns. Another one found. Sin drops CJ. It is just the pistols that are coming through here. Yeah, they're playing for overtime, it feels like.
I mean, we know that they're a dangerous team with the pistols. They had the one saved AK. That AK is gone, dashed in mid in a pretty much unrecoverable spot, unless George wants to get real cheeky. Someone's feeling like it could go the way of the dodo. And you're going to be in a situation for Nouns where, again, you're just up against a really quite ridiculous lead. Unable to get stuck into this half so far. Also, one of these 5.7s can do a whole lot of talking. I mean, they're in the right spot. They've kind of got a bit of a cheeky setup, but up against the rifles, up against players who just ain't missing. Well, they'll miss if they've got utility enhanced. Hold on. Hold on.
That's okay.
Ah, they dealt with.
George is very far away as well, so
I think best case scenario, honestly, would be George getting towards that AK mid. No armor, no kit. You gonna try and ninja?
I don't know.
Full 10 seconds.
I think he feels like he can win the fights here. He's gonna try and... Oh, man, I thought he might try to stop the bomb plant because there were 18 seconds left, but, you know, he probably would have gotten traded anyway.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think he's just trying a ninja.
Yeah.
Maybe. Doesn't. And, no. One more kill. Does not tip the scales in this one. They'll even recover the op. No, they don't. It fell off the side, but also they have plenty of cash, so it's really not going to be a problem. 6 chances to close now for M80. A massive bank built up. They haven't given up a round in the second half, and I don't know that they're gonna.
Yeah, well, unless Nouns can change that here, but so far it's been very difficult on the defensive side. Junior with the AWP. Want to be important here, because there is a quick push coming up the ramp. M80 are full sending it seems. At least Malbs is. He's charged up around the edge of the smoke, looking for that player at Sandbags. It is Junior. CJ's caught with utility in his hands. He gets deleted immediately. Malbs swings around, can't find his second. The reinforcements are trying to come in. A chance for Nouns to set up a choke point, but M80 managed to slip their way out of it and fall back down the ramp.
Trying to hold off in towards mid, doing a decent job of it, though he's spending all of his utility to do so. Seems like the ramp play is going to be the next ticket. And now they're playing very far back by their standards. You can tell how hesitant M80 is taking the space, right? Because so often the contacts come right here at top ramp, right here around the push in from side hall. Still to be spent to clear out the cement. Nobody's there. Carson from the catwalk. This could get a little interesting. Rush is coming to reinforce. George is even starting to lean this direction. It's going to be a brawl. It's going to be an absolute brawl. And when Carson reveals himself, that's going to be a key piece of this puzzle. Just really cheeky out. But he's missed his shot. Now backing away into a Molotov. Things are getting messy. Carson goes 1 for 1. It's going to be a melee on the site. 25 seconds. Junior connects, but it's not a kill. Not yet. Red clearing things out, overlooks, Rush able to dodge, and this is seeming like it might have come to a screeching halt. M80 just could not get in, and Sin's tuck and tail, bailing out, conceding this round.
Yeah, plenty of money for Sin, so doesn't have to worry about that loss bonus coming in. It's more important to keep the AK and the body armor available to him. That is a nice stop from Nouns. It really all starts at the beginning of the round, right? When they saw one player go down, Malbs is able to do that, but the immediate trade onto Malbs, and then the spacing was a little bit off for M80 because they weren't able to kind of continue applying that pressure after Malbs is down because of how far forward he was, and instead the best course of action for them at that point was just to fall back, and that's when Nouns really are able to stabilize themselves. And even though M80 tries to go back into that ramp play, the passive play of Nouns, which I mean we don't see very often, is what pays off for them, and they're able to really deal all the damage they have to against an M80 squad that didn't have much time left on the clock to get that bomb planted. So, we continue on here. First round found for Nouns. Will it be the only one in this second half? Well, see if M80 is able to deliver.
Get the tension in this round. It's been so long without contact. It feels like one of the slower rounds we've had. It's not just boss players, but right as he's falling off of the boost, so. Kill not found. With 45 seconds left, they're going to bet on B. It's going to be a full-on straight-up take. They don't have any mollies. They've got flashes and smokes to try and make this happen, and there's 3 players from Nouns. They're risking this, they're gambling this, and they're absolutely correct. What kind of Molotovs do they have? 1, 2. They can slow this down. They can cause a lot of problems. George is back here. By quad. Not going to be cleared out. Carson and George both strike. Bodies are hitting the floor. It's nothing doing here for M80. They just haven't left themselves enough juice for this. So Slack's mate is finding damage, but he's going to try and panic. Plant. It's just not going to happen.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, look, M80 didn't have the utility to go for that B hit.
I just don't understand why they didn't throw what they did have.
Yeah, I think... I'm not sure. Maybe they were trying to catch Nouns off guard. Maybe they just didn't realize how little time was left on the clock and kind of panicked and went for the hit. But I think the biggest problem with going for that B take without the utility you need is the Molotov. That's what was missing for quad. Because when you can't clear out quad with the Molotov, you have to go all the way up and to the corner of a site to clear that spot, and that leaves you so exposed to all the other angles. And I mean, now they're already reading it perfectly. Oh, here we go, though. Swisher, George, the only gun bot up here into the round, is going to deliver already onto George, who just got a little over eager on his peak from Danger Panel.
It actually looked like, I mean, the crosshair placement was head on. I actually think he may have just missed the model.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's a little dark on that corner, and I think he may just not have processed in time.
Maybe.
Whatever it is, it cost him his life. And I mean, look, this is not a round with a lot of cook, but we've seen it before. Wouldn't be the first time, wouldn't be the first time, but it won't be this time.
Well, it's still possible. I mean, Rush could get... No. Okay. Now it's
Not
done.
gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Wreck can punish. He can cook here, but it'd take a hero play, and that's not going to be the case. 3 rounds, all to separate these teams now. If you're M80, you gotta be feeling a little nervous. It was domination. It's not so much anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, in that round, it was just like the hero Galil that was purchased up and everyone else was on the pistol. So this is the real time when if you lose this round, then you start saying, hold on a second, what's happening here? And they realize the importance of it as they call a tactical timeout to talk things over, make sure their strategies are in order. And we haven't really seen them go towards that A site and use the new positioning that's available to, I should say the new spots that are available to them that much.
No.
So
it's actually interesting for a team that picked into this, right? That
yeah.
They seemed maybe less comfortable with the changes than some of the Nouns players have. It kind of makes sense in my head because Nouns is a team, especially when you look at a player like Carson or George, who they're very good at some of these cheeky positionings that allow for specific timings and aggressions. It's where they kind of thrive as a team, as players. That does make sense to me to some degree, but upside again is he did pick this, and it certainly has looked very good this half. Just gotta close.
Carson's overlooked, completely overlooked. Gets one, only one. I thought he was going to get 2 in that situation, but Rec with a heads-up trade. Siege is going to have to back off here. I'm pretty sure they're conceding the flank at this point. Siege is going to try and spam through. Junior's holding from that garage.
They need to get the smoke.
Yeah.
They need this lineup. They need this lineup on the new opening. I don't think they have it.
No.
That's really interesting. You have to have this lineup. What are they trying? Oh, they're boosting into it?
they saw Junior.
But I don't think they can get the shot. He's trying to line up the spam. Doesn't quite have it. That boost is not quite enough to give them the spam, but meanwhile, Swisher has just taken full control of this whole side of the map. Worked his way through mid. Got the anchor on. Where's George gone? Good luck on the retake.
Oh my god.
Bomb hasn't even gotten here yet. It's just Swisher holding court, and he's the king in his castle. Well, they melee siege. Defenses of the king stand strong. All falls to one. That one will fall indeed. Swisher, in the critical moment, secures it for M80. And it is the 2-0. Comfortable at that here, John.
Yeah, I mean, that's the second time Swisher just lurking around towards the B site, opens it up completely for his squad. Wasn't necessarily the one that was popping off with those crate plays, but he had a lot of impact on that T side to keep M80's momentum rolling, and then in that one to end Nouns' chances of getting back into the map and the series. Very well done from M80. I think that Vertigo has always been a strong map for them. That's why they picked into it, but they're still obviously adjusting. You see the lineups aren't necessarily there sometimes for the smokes, and they'll get there on that A site, but overall, very nicely done.
Very nicely done indeed. Very nicely done indeed. Look, M80 are a very strong team right now.
Yeah.
Right? They're the team that is in that upper echelon of squads, you know, contending with the likes of Complexity, with the likes of Liquid, making their way up into those events. We saw their run at Pro League. They beat G2. They almost beat them again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they very nearly made the playoffs. This is a team that's ascending, that has marked themselves as potentially an echelon above a lot of the North American competition. And for Nouns, they've had some wins in some of these online series, but when it matters most, when there's an opportunity for Pro League, they look a little outclassed. They look a little outmatched. And for Nouns, it's now the lower bracket run that's going to be required.
I think the only thing for Nouns that I've noticed, at least as of late, is that the only team that's really outclassing them is M80. I mean, they are going toe-to-toe with NRG, who I consider the one notch below M80, and every other squad struggles to deal with Nouns' aggression, so they can just kind of throw it at them again and again and again. It's just M80 is such a good team. They've got so much depth right now that they're hard to deal with, and even Nouns, they don't have the answer sometimes. And, well, I mean, we'll see what they can do in that lower bracket now, whereas M80 is going to face off against the winner of the other upper bracket match, which ended up being wild card, in fact, 2-0 over the Party Astronauts.
That's a banger. That's a banger. M80 versus Wildcard. That's for a spot in the Pro League. Because remind your folks,
Yes.
there are 2 Pro League spots to give away this season, which means that you just have to make it into that final, and you're guaranteed a spot. You do not need to win it. Obviously, winning it is better because bigger prize, prestige, all those things. But ultimately, you just gotta make it into that grand final, and the biggest test is already going to be secured: the test of making the ESL Pro League. Which obviously is going to be something that they really do want to get back to, that they really do want to make happen. Having had such a good run in the Pro League this time around, putting themselves on that international map, really, you need to get back to Malta, and they know it.
They absolutely do. And I mean, they've still been performing well in other close qualifiers, getting to other LAN events. I mean, they've already made another one a couple of weeks ago. And I mean, I'm just impressed with how M80 continue to kind of get themselves set up in positions where they can gain that. And of course, Pro League is on their minds. They're 1 win away, which is fantastic for them. And then a cherry on top, of course, if they make that grand final, would be winning it, which is what both of us expected as we saw our predictions yesterday, Mike.
It is indeed. Yeah, it is indeed.
We have someone coming, I think, as well, Mike.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're hoping for it in just a few moments. But I think that this is a beautiful thing to see for M80, this now sustained success that they're getting through. Reminder for historical context, if you're not as familiar with M80, this is an org that started in other games, that started over in Valorante, that made the decision to get into North American Counter-Strike, that very intentionally wanted to build a project here in North America, that signed this core back, I think, last August, if I'm not mistaken. Might have even been July. Built this team, went through some changes, brought in Slacks to replace Wolfie, had the loss of Manx as he took a step back from competition, brought in Sin to replace him. Question marks at all these places, right? Sin, coming off of an unspectacular stint, Big looking so much better into this team with the reins firmly in his hands. And they just continued to build. This North American core has built. The knowledge and impact from the 2 German players has been massive for the NA guys. They've got Def back into coaching. Like, it's been a very intentionally well-built project, and seeing it rewarded is cool. It's cool to see, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I honestly couldn't agree more. And I think what's great about it is just everyone's pulling their weight so effectively. Malbs, is kind of holding that mantle at the top of the scoreboard a lot of the times, and contributing in very clutch moments and pulling off these highlight reel plays. And then you have Swisher, who is bouncing back and forth between perhaps anchor roles and those lurky roles on that T side. And I mean, just really, I should say anchor roles on CT side and then lurky roles on T side. And he's really embraced that so effectively, and it's great to see. Like you said, every piece is kind of activating for this.
It is indeed. It is indeed. And I mean, of course, it's nice when you're just getting an ace on your first piss round to get comfy. Mirage, I mean, Mirage was just it was domination, right? We can't really split that any other way. That was, they came out on Nouns' map pick and punched Nouns in the jaw. And that one's going to need to be one where Nouns look at it and think about it, sit on that L a little bit and think about why they came. Just not what we expect from this team on Mirage in particular.
No, yeah.
But yeah, no, moving into Vertigo, I actually do think Nouns looked good there comparatively, right? Obviously, the second half, not so great, but they had some ideas for how they wanted to play that A site. They had some ideas for how they wanted to adapt. We saw them exploit the catwalk a couple of times in ways that M80 weren't prepared for. But now to talk about what M80 were prepared for, we got Swisher coming in on this interview, coming in on the mic. Swish, always nice to start a BO3 with an ace, isn't it?
Always. It's happened a few times. I think it happened in Katowice, or no, against Bet Boom in EPL as well with Duis.
Yeah. Feels good, man. I want to ask you about the new Vertigo. You guys played it. You guys picked into it. What do you think? What do you think about that new A site? How are you guys feeling with it?
It's still a little weird, but we kind of have a pretty good concept of how we want to approach it. With kind of the right passive and aggressive kind of stance it starts. T-side's a little weird. The smokes are kind of a little weird still, but it feels decent. I wouldn't say it's a bad change. It's just a weird change.
I mean, speaking of changes, you guys absolutely dumpstered them on Mirage. I mean, I didn't expect it at all. And what happened there? Because in the previous engagements against them, you guys know how good they've performed, on Mirage in the past. On Mirage in the past. But did you look through some tape, or what happened there? Just ended up getting that momentum and it just didn't stop.
We kind of discussed a little bit that like we are kind of our balls, I would say, and like our comfort and aggression. It's kind of been lacking recently. It was very evident in Dallas. We just weren't playing the same style that we normally play. So we kind of just ended up having a pretty good plan going into Mirage, and kind of just played a little bit with a little bit more balls, and it obviously worked. And that's kind of like was an issue that we had with our Ancient 2 recently. So that's kind of what we've just been addressing, is like our confidence.
Putting the balls out, love it.
Yeah.
Speaking about Dallas, right? I mean, this has been a season of kind of some ups and downs, some very high highs. That Pro League run was really good. The Dallas run may be left a little bit to be searched for you guys. Headed into the next season, we're almost wrapping up here. We're coming towards the end of this. What are sort of the lessons that you're taking into this squad?
Definitely that EU scrims are better than NA scrims. Because we're
Oh,
honestly,
man.
unfortunately, not able to learn a lot here. We haven't had a lot of good practice at all, and that we kind of are just really looking forward to starting our EU boot camp prior to ESWC for our next season. But the map pool's in a weird spot. We're kind of just playing our game, not worrying about like what other people are thinking, and whether or not people are like countering us, and kind of just playing our own game, making slight adjustments here and there, adding a little bit of flair, and just owning.
Just owning, indeed. I mean, that's not bad. One more thought here. You guys had a great run in the Pro League this last season. You're one series away from making it again for the next season, whatever the word is. It's wild card who you're up against. You beat wild card and you're back in Pro League. How are you feeling about that matchup?
We're pretty confident going into it. Happy with anybody that we play against. I think the last few times we've beat them, so you can never take games for granted. You never know. People have better days, people have off days and such like that. But we're just gonna come in, be confident, play our game tomorrow, and show what we are made of.
I like it. It's the classic answer, but it's tried and true for a reason. Thank you for joining us, Swisher. Congrats on the win today. Looking forward to seeing what you do tomorrow.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
What a guy. What a mensch.
I mean, it's it's just all about confidence, right? And I think he's right, because they're so drilled on all these maps that at times maybe they're just questioning themselves too much, and they certainly didn't do that on Mirage. I mean, there were zero questions happening in their minds. They were just charging out, taking the fights, winning them straight up, and that looked great. And Vertigo, we saw it, right? And he mentioned it. There were little issues in terms of adjusting to the utility. I think, reading between the lines, it's like Vertigo's interesting. I don't know how they feel about the changes so far, but it's a map that they're willing to continue going to.
I think I like it.
Yeah.
I think I like it. I don't know how I feel about playing it, but it is making it interesting. I like change. I like change, John, and everything changes. But what might not change is that M80 might be another North American representative into the Pro League. We'll find out if they can take that last step tomorrow. But for now, it's time to say good night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye, everybody.